ladies. It's your girl, Nick Keith, and welcome to a new episode of TTP, the Transetter podcast. I'm so excited for this episode today, y'all, because I have a very, very special guest. She is a published psychologist, podcast host, social media personality, and transgender activist. Make some noise for the one and only and my girl, Bre Starr. Yes!
Ow, Puss is in the building.
She is in
Puss
the
is
building.
Puss is in the building. I'm feeling good, honey. Crazy as cat shit per usual. Yes, I'm feeling good, girl. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be on here with you. I
Thank
couldn't
you.
wait to be
Yes,
on
yes.
your platform.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. And you looking good. Like I said off camera, she always comes stylish to the party. Okay, she rocking it. She got her blunt roll up. So we're gonna get into some things today. Yes,
Style, honey. Nikki said that I'm coming stylish, baby, honey, and I'm
yes.
looking like I just escaped the asylum. But
No,
no,
you is crazy. You are so silly. And that's what I love about you. You are so real and genuine, authentic. And I love that you just raw. And that's why I wanted to bring you on. I love you. So thank you for bringing time in your schedule to be here today. Thank you.
thank you for having me, my love.
Yes. And I love that we have a special connection. I know we have a mutual friend. Shout out to our boy, Armani Day. Yes. And I was able to be part of your platform. You interviewed me a couple weeks ago, or a couple months weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was such a good time. We dived into some conversation, good topics, and we're trans sisters together. So I'm glad we're able to get together today to get this interview and get it popping together.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to do anything with you, Nikki, because you know, honey, I see it for you. I think that you are such a star, and I'm just ready for you to have all of your moments.
You too,
And
beautiful.
I'm just grateful to be a part of it. Honey,
I'm
I'm telling y'all, if for all the people listening, honey, if y'all haven't heard this lady's music, like
What?
she's literally on my real playlist
Thank
that I
you.
listen to with, and she's next to Billboard charting artists, honey. So y'all
Thank
need to
you,
go.
baby. That means a lot. And you a star too, so don't even play. We're gonna get to everything today. You a star too. But I love you and I appreciate you. Before we get into some things, I always ask like a little fun question, little icebreaker. The question is, if you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be and why?
If I could eliminate one thing from my daily routine, it would be work.
Why is that?
If I could eliminate one thing from my daily routine, it could be work. Work to me feels inhuman. I
Mm,
feel I feel like especially in our society, in this capitalist ass society where we constantly working for other people and working for billionaires, and they're keeping us poor and we're making them richer. We struggling and shit. Now working for myself, I love to do. Making content, I love to do. Being on Marsha's plate co-hosting, I love to do.
yes.
None of that feels like work to me. That's just, and like even talking to you, this doesn't feel like work to me. It's me being me and me doing things that I do naturally. Like I talk to people. I love talking to people. So anything where I just have to talk and express my opinions and thoughts doesn't feel like work to me. But when I have to do shit I don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
I want I want to eliminate that, all of those things from my schedule, because that's the motherfucker work. Whenever I'm doing something to make another motherfucker richer,
Oh,
eh, yeah, I
yeah.
want to eliminate all that from my motherfucking schedule. But
Yeah.
this is the world we live in, honey. If you don't work, then bitch, you be on the curb.
Okay, so true and so true. And you're doing a good job. Like you are an entrepreneur. I see you on TikTok doing your thing, getting sponsorships and everything. So you're doing a good job, like being an entrepreneur for yourself and making a name for yourself independently. So keep doing your thing, babe.
Thank you, girl. You know for yourself, honey. It's a lot harder than it looks, honey.
Yes,
Motherfuckers made that shit look easy. I was coming into content creating, thinking
right.
that, oh, this was going to be a walk in the motherfucking park, honey.
No,
I got in the motherfucking park, honey, and they was jacking bitches.
they were. Yeah, for real. For
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Yes,
Nasty work.
yes.
Nasty work.
Let's get into some background. As I said earlier, that we are both trans sisters. Can you share your personal journey or self discovery in coming out to us?
Coming out as trans,
Yes.
I was always queer. I was always femme. I started carrying purses in the third grade. Um, I was the first trans person to openly transition in my hometown where I'm from. I was the first. There have been there have been a few since. Shout out to the girls. Shout out to Cambridge. Shout out to the Eastern Shore, Maryland. Um, but yeah, my journey was a little bit different. I came out as gay in the seventh grade, but I never quite felt gay. I only came out as gay in the seventh grade because people tried to use my femininity as a slur. They tried to use it. They tried to use my queerness as a like thing to like eat me up, to try and eat me up, to try and embarrass me. And I don't like other people having control over me. I don't like other people having power over me. Never did, even as a kid. And so we was walking home from middle school one day, and they thought that they was going to call me faggots and all of that. And I was going, feel insulted. And I broke the girls down, and I was like, okay, I'm gay. What's next?
What's tea?
Do we
What's up?
have another slur? Do we have another insult? Like
Yes.
because that I never, and for me, I also never really understood homophobia. I didn't grow up in a homophobic household. I didn't grow up in a home around a homophobic family. I didn't grow up in the church or with
Good.
any religion or anything like that. So I never saw it as a bad thing. Like my mom was always a fag hag. I have other queer people in my family. I'm just the only trans. So
Yes.
I never saw being gay as a bad thing, but coming
Mhm.
from a small rural country town,
Yes.
I never heard the word transgender until freshman orientation when I went to
Mm.
Coppin. When I went to Coppin State, when I went to college, and they said the word transgender, and they gave the definition at the dorm orientation, and I was like, oh shit, they have a word for people like me. Like that's immediately what I thought. I'll never forget. And yeah, and ever since then I knew I was trans, and I started as being in college, of course, I was already involved in the queer scene and in the local queer community in Baltimore.
Mhm.
I started I started running away to Baltimore when I was a teenager. And and yeah, I started to get to know more trans people. I realized that there were people who I knew who were trans that I didn't realize were trans. And then I met my gay mom and my aunties, and they were all trans women. And one day, one of my aunties came to me and she was like, girl, you one of us, right?
Yes.
And, and at the time, I was identifying as like gender queer,
Mhm.
but we didn't put that under the trans umbrella at the
Right.
time. So, but yeah, that's how I eventually transitions and came out as trans. I didn't do um a come out like I
Right.
did as gay.
Yeah.
My presentation just became more and more feminine over time.
Mhm.
Like I said, I started wearing girls' clothes in high school, started carrying purses in elementary school.
Yes.
Um, Started playing in makeup and all that in high school. By college, my presentation was very androgynous. By the
Yes.
time I met the trans girls, my presentation was very androgynous. I am on any given day or at any given time, even on the same day, wearing the same clothes. People would call me ma'am and sir, and I would answer to either.
Mhm.
Um, but there got to a point once I started taking hormones and got these double D's and all of that, yeah, and all of that, like the girls just stopped seeing me as a boy. Like people was basically giving like, girl, you delusional if you think that people see you as anything other than a woman.
Right.
And And they were right. And of course, I had experiences, great experiences, and traumatic experiences. The first time I was ever sexually assaulted, it was after transitioning and presenting as a woman. But all of those things made me realize that, yeah, I'm not going to go back to presenting as male. I'm not going to ever attempt to detransition or reverse the effects that
Yeah.
estrogen have had on my body. Um, and realistically, for the way our society is set up, everybody's going to see me as a woman and treat me as such. So, in
Right.
order for me to avoid transphobia and all those things, I'm just going to change everything legally.
Yes. That is so beautiful. I love that. I'm glad that you had like the support. And also I just realized that me and you share that similarity as like as you had said being gay and then coming out as trans at a later time in college. Cause that's
Yeah,
exactly the same here. I was gay and then came out as trans in college. So yeah, that is beautiful that you're able to, like I said, live authentic and be yourself and have that
thank
support
you.
system as well. And I
Thank you,
want to,
thank you. I definitely appreciate that because, and that's one of the reasons I started to make content was because I wanted parents to see what
yes,
a trans person looks like when they have unconditional love from the people who are assigned to love them.
yes, absolutely. And I know that you have said you have that support from your trans sisters and your trans mother. What was the most supportive thing someone did for you during your transition?
The most supportive thing, rest in peace to Chrissy Revlon. Um, but that is my auntie. That is the one who was like, "Girl, you know you one of us, right?" Um, and the girls pretty much scooped me up off the street. But I think that my whole relationship with Chrissy, and I'm so fortunate that I was able to have a relationship with her before she passed while she was here. Um, my whole relationship with her, I think, is the most selfless thing that any
Mhm.
trans person has done. She literally taught me everything I need to know and gave me all the tools. She taught me everything she knew, and she gave me access to all the things, all the tools that she had. And also the girls, that whole crew, they wouldn't let me get punked with they wouldn't let me get the injections, they wouldn't let me get the ass shots and shit,
Mhm.
because they had all had them and they had all dealt with infections and all of those things. So um yeah, that whole relationship. I remember the girls all got together. Chrissy,
Mhm.
my mom, Deidre, who's her sister, um, Naja or Janaya. Some people know, a lot of people know her as Janaya. The girls had all got together. We had all got together at Deidre's house, and they had helped me get in full drags for the first time. Like helped me to actually try and present as a femme queen specifically.
Yes.
Like I was going for that femme queen look, and we pushed my titties up and padded my titties. We padded my hips and my ass. I'd already had plenty clothes.
Yes.
Um, I'd had at the time I was bald headed, but honey, I could twirl a weave and I could twirl a wig. So
Yes.
they helped me pull it together with the body of it all. Um, but the face was always cunt,
Period.
and I pulled the hair together, and the look came out. My first time ever in drags, it came out so cute that Chrissy took me to Philly to my first ball.
Wow. Yes. How was
Huh?
that?
Oh my god, it was, looking back, it was bananas, but at the time I couldn't even process it all.
Mm.
At the time it was just like I was at this gay club. The closest thing I had experienced to that before, prior to going to a ball, was like a gay club.
Hmm.
And now it's like I was at like a gay club experience on steroids and full of trans people.
Yes.
And it was intense. And then I was there with my girl Chrissy, and there were, you know, she's part of the in crowd in ballroom.
Mhm.
She's everybody, anybody who's anybody in ballroom, especially from her generation, knows exactly who I'm talking about. And so we had access to all of the things, all of the treats, all of the goodies, and I was a party girl back then.
Yes.
Um, So yeah, it was just a lot. And like looking back now, like I was having conversations with nothing but legends and icons and ballroom history. And at the time I didn't even know who these people were. I hadn't even seen Paris is Burning.
Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I ended up meeting Tony Revlon. And mind you, all this happened in my first day in drags. I ended up meeting Tony Revlon, pretty
Right,
much everybody who was anybody who was there in the house of Revlon, because again it was his birthday ball. Um and yeah, I actually rode to the function with the Revlons.
wow.
Yeah. And it was a lot to take in, but yeah, everybody thought that I was already a trans woman. Everybody thought that I was already a femme queen, and that was literally my first time in drag.
That is beautiful. I love that. And I love how you share that story of, you just being in that ballroom, being authentic, as I said earlier, and just living in that moment. And I know you'll always cherish that memory forever.
Baby, that moment inspired everything that is ballroom history 101, everything that inspired Bre Starr. I got the name Bre Starr from ballroom, because I am a member of the I'm original member of the House of Star, of the DC House of Star. So yeah, a huge part of me is ballroom, and the ballroom girls give me a lot of flack. I am ballroom adjacent. T-shirts available on my website.
Okay.
um they give me a lot of flack because I'm one of the people who walked, turned it,
Hmm.
did my thing. They started to give me accolades and started to let me in, and I walked away.
Understand.
Yeah, so they labeled me ballroom adjacent, but as soon as I started to develop a TikTok platform
Yes.
and started to develop a following, because ballroom had been such a huge inspiration on my activism and my
Right.
transition and all of those things. I wanted to bring ballroom with me. I wanted to incorporate ballroom into my content, and when I did, it just really blew me up.
Yes, for real. And that's what I love about your content. As you have said, ballroom and just speaking on topics in the community general. So yes, I love that. And I got some stuff I want to get into later about ballroom as well in some of your platform. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I also wanted to ask you, there's so many misconceptions about transgender individuals. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions people have about transgender individuals?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. So let's break it down a bit, because it's a whole umbrella now, and that in itself is controversial.
Yes.
Um, with trans women, I think the biggest misconception is that we're all hoes. We're like literally hoes,
Yeah.
sex workers, like we get paid for fuck. We exchange sex for money, and that is what we all do for a living. Um i think i think the biggest misconception about trans men is that they don't exist. Um when when they're in just as high, if not higher numbers than us, they just tend to pass better and blend well, and a lot of people
Mhm.
work with trans men and live around trans men and all those things and don't realize.
Right.
um we tend to be a bit more noticeable.
Mhm.
And also a lot of us trans women, we tend to be hyper femme, so that in itself gets us noticed whether we're clocky or not.
Yes.
um and I think the biggest misconception about non-binary people is that they are transsexuals, that they are either trans man or trans woman. I think
Mhm.
overall the biggest misconception about the whole community is how we have sex and our reasoning for transitioning.
Right. I agree because I know like for me when people try to talk, it's like guys try to talk to me. It's like sometimes it's like they just think of a fantasy. It's so like I said, there's so many misconceptions about being a trans individual. And it's like I'm just a human, just like you.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
it's so
mhm.
crazy. So you really
It
just have to.
is.
Mhm. You just really have to
It
like
is.
stay in your staying on business
Mm-hmm.
and know your boundaries, you know?
Mm-hmm.
For sure, for sure.
And stay strong with your boundaries, because to all my
Mhm.
trans girls, especially my young trans girlies who still navigating men and dating,
Right.
honey, whether they want to or not, these people see you as a woman and they're going to treat you accordingly. Men treat women like shit. Men use women, period. It's not just trans women. The same way I
Mhm.
hear a lot of trans women say that about they think that guys think is just a fantasy with us, and then after they fuck you the fantasy is over. I hear a lot of girls say things like that. No, those are just womanizers.
Mhm.
Those they do the same thing to cisgender women. They
Yeah.
tell them what they think they want to hear until they get in their panties. A lot of guys are trash, and it's not all guys, but
Right.
it's the guys who are usually chasing us. It's the first guy to hit you up on a dating app. It's the first guy to
Right.
come up and buy you a drink when you're at the bar. It's the first guy to hit up your ad and not have no fucking money. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like these guys are a lot of these guys are trash, but these guys who are attracted to cisgender women, they do the same exact thing with them that they do to us. I mean, you have to keep in mind, how can they really have truly healthy, faithful relationships with women unless those women are aware that they're fucking trans women as well?
Right. It's crazy. I was gonna ask you, do you have any advice for the teenagers, the young adults, um, that are experiencing like relationships issues or just start getting to their transition and is on the dating scene?
One bit of advice I would give a couple of bits of advice. You
Yeah.
know, one of my published studies is in romantic relationships. So, one bit of advice I give all people is to not consider marriage before 30.
Hmm.
I encourage people to date around, because dating around not only helps you find out what you like and what you want,
Yes.
but it helps you figure out who you are.
Hmm.
Um, I encourage everybody to get on prep. Never, never, never trust people to be honest with you about their sexual health. Take control of your own sexual health. Get on prep. Talk to your doctor about doxypep as well. Whether you're having unprotected sex or not, condoms break.
Hmm.
Um, and also, if you're to all of my LGBTQ folks looking for love, don't look for it on Grinder or Jack. Those are hookup apps. Most of the people there are part of the kink community, whether they realize it or not. A lot of the people who are on those apps are broke tricks and hoes
Yes.
and and sex workers and content creators. So if you're looking for love, that ain't the place. Those aren't the places for you. And those are the basic bits of advice I would give. You know, any other advice that y'all want, hit me up
Yeah.
on any of my platforms, and we can keep the conversation going.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. I love that advice. And you're right, you're right. I feel like you're gonna meet your love. It's gonna be in person. Oh my god, my voice. I got a cough. There we go. But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you are an online dating girl like I am, um, don't waste a whole bunch of time chatting with those people. You're on there to set up dates,
Yes.
to meet in person, and that's also a way to weed a lot of people out. You have a lot of people who are on those apps because they don't go out to meet
Yeah.
people in person, and they're scared to meet people in person. Social anxiety, various other mental health issues. Sometimes it's just insecurity, you know, and y'all know how it is. A lot of these people are ugly as hell in person and look better in pictures. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
For
So
real.
you're on there to set up dates and meet people in person. You're not on there to chat with people for 3 to 6 months, hoping that one day y'all feel comfortable enough to meet. No, and if that's you, you're not ready to date.
Okay, I totally agree with that. I know we're talking about love, and I know Valentine's Day is approaching us. Are you currently dating? And if so, how is it dating as a transgender woman?
Ah!
Yeah.
I- Girl, Nikith, the last time we talked, I think I told you that I had been single for over 2 years.
Yes. Yes.
And this was one of the longest periods that I've been single since being an adult.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm no longer single. I'm no longer looking, y'all. Um
Yay!
I'm
Yes.
off the market for love. It's still it's still very new though, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But
Okay.
I'm not looking right now. And even if this doesn't work out, I'm still going to need time to heal.
Yeah.
But so far so good. And I'm excited to see what happens, and if this evolves into something real, I will introduce them to everybody.
I love that. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. And I know it's like no feeling in the world being in love and being with that special person. So I'm happy for you, sister. And we'll keep it on the low. You tell me the tea behind the scenes and everything.
Okay, will do, honey.
Yes, yes. I want to talk about some of your studies. Can you tell us about your educational background and what led you to pursue psychology?
Ooh, what led me to pursue psychology was my own mental health journey.
Mm,
As to all the people who don't know me, as I said at the beginning, I'm crazy as cat shit, honey. To all the people who can see me, hey,
hey.
yeah, I know I'm crazy as cat shit. And to all the people who know me, y'all already know I'm crazy as cat shit. So my own mental health journey led me to becoming a psychologist. Like I said, I grew up in a small country rural town,
Mm-hmm.
Farmville, USA, the real Farmville. I was the first trans person, so that came with a lot of flack. That
Mm-hmm.
came with a lot of attention. That came with a lot of enemies, a lot of haters, a lot of transphobia, a lot of homophobia, a lot of queer phobia, a lot of misogyn war against me that people didn't realize. And yes, you can be misogynistic against people who have penises. Um, and yeah, so that led me that mixed with my parents' crazy genes, because both my parents is crazy as hell, honey.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm crazy as cat shit, then they crazy as cow shit,
Oh my
honey.
God.
Um, both of my parents have a history of addiction. And so I'm sure that their genes mixed with the trauma of being trans in a small town, it led me to have early onset depression. By the
Okay.
time I became a teenager, by the time I went to high school, I was dealing with full on major depression
Mm,
and didn't even know it. And it was spiraling into various other mental disorders. And not long after that, after becoming a teenager, one of my close friends was killed in front of me, brutally murdered, stabbed to death in front of me. Um, as a child, during that same time period when we were on our way to school, waiting for the school bus,
I'm
her
sorry.
boyfriend killed her. And I was the state's witness. I turned state's evidence against
Mm,
him. And I hate the police and not a fan of the justice system, but don't regret that for a day.
mm,
That there's exceptions to every rule. But with me, my family, me going through the depression and that spiraling into eating disorders and all of this other crazy shit, I'm starting to dissociate. For all of those who don't know, dissociating is like when you literally go outside of your mind, when you literally stop living in reality. Um and all of those things, my family wasn't really phased. They were just like, oh, okay, you about to be another crazy Chester. Shout out to the Chester family. They was like, oh, you get ready to be another crazy motherfucker. Oh, okay, cool. We used to crazy motherfuckers around here. You know what I mean?
mm,
But then after experiencing my friend be murdered, then that's when the black niggas, that's when the Negro family was finally like, Okay, yeah, we can get this child some psychological help because trauma in the black. I mean, stigma in the black community, honey. We don't go to therapy. We don't go to therapy and all that shit, honey. We work. If anything, honey, you better carry your ass to a church, a temple, a mosque, or something, honey.
Yes.
But after that traumatic experience, and me being even so headstrong at the time and deciding to turn state's evidence and all that, like I made those
Mhm.
decisions as a child. And my parents were just really supportive. um but yeah, that inspired me to become a psychologist because and still have a great mental health team.
Mhm.
For all who don't know, all of us who work in psychology, it is recommended that we have a mental health team, even if for nothing more than us to let off the baggage that we pick up, because we tend to meet people at their worst, and we tend to
Mhm.
work with people when they're at their worst. So it's
Mhm.
natural for us to take on those negative emotions. So if for nothing more than to have somebody to release all that negativity to. Um, but yeah,
Yes.
I originally went to a HBCU, historically black university, college Coppin University in Baltimore, honey. Shout out to Coppin,
Right.
honey. Um, and very small school, known primarily for nursing and teachers. Um, I got kicked out of Coppin. Like I said, I was a party girl.
Yes.
um, yeah, ended up getting it together, ended up getting sober because I was on pills and shit real bad and everything.
Oh.
Um, yeah, honey, girl, honey, this brain is all ate up,
Oh
girl.
no.
I'm
No.
not, I'm not sitting here in designer ski masks and designer
Okay.
sunglasses and crazy as cat shit just for fun. It's a real thing. This ain't a character I put on for the internet. But
Yeah.
yeah, I ended up getting sober, and like I said, that mental health team came together for me, along with the support
Mhm.
from my family, my blood family and my chosen family. Shout out to y'all. And everybody helped me to realize my potential. Like, Bree, you too good for this. You have too much potential for this. You was put here to do something. And we all
Right.
know you was put here to do something, and doing something is more than just getting high and being out on the scene.
Yes.
Um so yeah, so I ended up pulling it together and got up on my feet, and went to community college. I did so well in community college that I became a part of the honor society, and they gave me all types of scholarships and grants, and that got the attention of Towson University, which is a PWI. Um, Honestly, these days it's predominantly Asian. You go to a good school when it's predominantly Asian, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I went to Towson, and I met Dr. Paz Galupo, who is an icon in psychology, specifically LGBTQ studies and research, and she saw something in me as well. I don't know. People keep seeing something in me, and I'm just hoping that one day I see it too. But until then, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, because as long as y'all see it, I'm gonna be here for y'all. But anyway, she saw something in me, and I started spending time in the lab with her, and my ideas and my conversations with her started to turn into um record breaking research studies. I am the first Black person to, not just trans, I'm the first Black person, period, to publish or to author a study that features a non binary trans population.
That's amazing. That
Yeah, so honestly, this has been, if you believe in God, this has been God, Allah, the universe.
is
Um, I have literally just been put in position, and the only thing that I've really done is just fight to maintain my sanity,
yes.
and also fight for my various marginalized communities that I'm a part of: the Black community, the trans community, the bisexual community, all of the things, all
I
of the
love
things.
it.
But yeah, and I turned when by the time I went to Towson, by the time I got into Towson, I had turned career
Hmm.
student because I was accumulating so much money from grants and scholarships and stuff that they were able to pay my living expenses as well. So all I had to do is go to school, and yeah, I ended up with my own spot and two vehicles, just being a college student, living out on my own, not even in the dorms. So and yeah, that inspired me to keep going with my education. I realized that I'm a person who loves to learn, and I love being in school. And I plan on going back. I plan on going back, maybe even one day having having multiple doctorate degrees. Who knows?
I love that. I love that, and I love your journey, and like you found like your purpose through all the experiences that you went through. It led to that, you know. And I love that
Yeah,
you found your purpose. I,
yeah.
I
That's
was, go ahead, babe.
and that's it. You touched on it exactly, Nikki.
I love it.
I found my purpose through trauma and drama. I found my purpose through things that make the average person crack, or through things that a lot of people have cracked from. A lot of people have cracked from witnessing murder. A lot of people have cracked from experiencing transphobia.
Right.
Um, and I feel like I'm really just here to remind people that if I can get through it, you can. For a lot of the people who I counsel, for a lot of the people who I speak with, I really don't like the words clients and patients, but for all of those people who hire me for my voice and for
Hmm.
my guidance and direction, I honestly just remind them that if I can do it, you can do it. And I also just be there with them through the journey so that they don't have to be alone.
Exactly. I love that. You're absolutely right. We all can do it. Just believe in yourself, stay consistent, and keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward, and you're going to reach your goals. I know that
Absolutely.
I know you did your research and your studies. What is one of the most rewarding cases or experiences you had as a psychologist?
Ooh, 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 ooh. It's happened more than once. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but
Yeah.
if you but for all of the people who think that I'm a good content creator, for all the people who think that I'm a good writer, for all the people who think that I'm a good songwriter, for all the people who think that I'm a good artist, for all the people who think that I'm a good person. Honestly, if you haven't met me in a professional capacity as a psychologist, you haven't seen the best of Bre Starr. You haven't seen the best of me. Um, I've had multiple occasions where people have gotten sober and are still sober to this day. Um, I've had multiple instances where people have come out of the closet and are living their full and their best life. Instances where people have found their chosen family. Instances where people have found their calling.
Yes.
Instances where people have found purpose. Instances where people have found security in themselves. And yeah, I could tell you about some recent accolades, of course, for my clients, but of course
Yes.
I can't use names. I
Okay.
can't use names. I can tell you that this is actually a client who found me through TikTok. Yes, yeah. Believe it or not, knowing my crazy ass personality online, people still want me to counsel them,
I
and
love
because
that.
they know that we're going to have our real moments, but they know that
Mhm.
it's going to be as fun as it can be with me
Yes.
because I'm just a fun person. I'm gonna find laughter and misery. I just
Right.
am. That's how I cope. But
Yes.
yeah, client I met through TikTok, and when I met her, she was miserable.
My goodness.
She was miserable. She was so miserable that she had already been dealing with various mental health issues for years, but she was starting to develop new ones
Oh my goodness.
because she was so because she was so miserable. And that's what happens when you have mental health issues that go untreated. They spiral into more mental health issues.
Mhm.
It's very common for the average person with mental health issues to start abusing substances because they're trying to
Mhm.
self-medicate. But
Yeah.
again, substance abuse is a whole nother mental health issue you're going to have to deal with, because once you develop this dependency. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to the story. When I met her, she was miserable. She was in a relationship with this Trumpian, quote unquote conservative, quote
Mm.
unquote cracker, white supremacist,
Okay.
racist, trash ass dude. She's very into activism. She's very pro black, pro people of color, very liberal, very progressive, all of these things. She has a black trans woman as a counselor, you know what I mean, as a psychiatric counselor, you know. Um,
Yes.
and she chose me knowing that. And she's not black or trans.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, so yeah, she was in this really bad relationship, and she was down south, honey, and she's from New York. Long story short, she is now, and I've been working with her for over a year, but
Hmm.
now at this point, she don't even really need me like that. Like we have sessions every now and then,
Yes.
just to catch up, and just in case she has to vent something, or
Hmm.
she wants somebody to bounce ideas off of,
Right.
right? But yeah, she's back in New York. She has her home. She has a home, her own home. She's
Nice.
living out on her own,
Good.
and she got money in the bank, her own. Shorty, what you think?
Hey,
She got money
hey,
in the
hey.
bank.
Yes, yes. I,
Yes, and she is doing so well, and she has, of course, even referred other people to me because people have seen her progress, and
yes.
and they've been wondering what does she attribute it to, and she always tells them Bre Starr.
That is beautiful. I'm so happy that you were able to help her and guide her to get back to herself and live everyday life, finding her purpose now, you know? It's like it's giving
Yeah.
back. I love it. I love it. So you better get it. You slaying it. You better get it. Yes.
I mean, that the whole goal is for us to find out what we're good at,
Yeah.
and to excel on it, to work the fuck out of that shit. And I found out
Mhm.
that I'm good at talking to people, whether it is publicly or privately. And
Yes.
so I'm just trying to twerk the hell out of that shit. I talk online
Okay.
every chance that I get.
Yes, as you should. Okay. Shake it. I know earlier, yes. I know earlier we talked about mental health and depression. Mental health and depression is what a lot of us go through, and sometimes we don't even speak on it. I know sometimes I even feel depressed sometimes, but that's another story. I was going to ask you, how can mental health professionals better support transgender individuals?
I think the biggest thing, we need more transgender mental health professionals,
Mm,
because you yourself know, being my sister, being sisters to other girls,
yes,
being sisters to other trans people in general, being a sister to other trans people in general, you know that there are certain things about us that only we get.
yes,
At the end of the day, you will never know what it's like to be trans unless you live a trans experience.
yes.
And the biggest thing we need is other transgender mental health professionals. And I think that the biggest thing that mental health professionals can do is they could take a page from Dr. Paz Galupo. She has put together a whole population of us. To give you an example, um, I'm far from the only or even the biggest student that Paz Galupo has mentored. Um, the person who is the psychological consultant for M. Night Shyamalan
Mm,
is a Paz Galupo student.
that's
You know
amazing.
what I mean?
Yes.
So all of that psychological horror that you see in M.
Mhm.
Night Shyamalan's movies are intentional, and there is a psychologist in collaboration behind it. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
um, so the biggest advice that I could give to not just mental health professionals but healthcare professionals in general, is to make space for transgender people, make space for queer people, make space
Mhm.
for trans attracted people, make space for people, all people who are trans allies and trans adjacent. Be a trans ally, be trans adjacent, because there's more that you need to know about us than I could tell you in this podcast and in this time.
I love that, and that's a good recommendation. I totally agree with that. Just having us step in and be the voice for us, for our community. Like you said, it's nothing like a transgender experience, and the life that we live. No one can. We can't really just speak on it. Like you have to really live through it. So yeah,
Hmm.
I totally agree with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. I want to dive into make switch roles a little bit. I know that you are doing your thing as a co-host on Marsha's Plate podcast. The
My
trans,
favorite job. This is my
yes,
shout out to Marcia's Plate. My favorite job
yes,
ever. Shout out to Diamond and Jay.
right. I love it, and that is the inclusive podcast. I was taking a listen, and I love the energy and what you all stand for. I love the dynamic. Y'all are killing it. So shout out to everyone on the show. Yes. I want to ask you, what's the most rewarding aspect of hosting a podcast?
Ooh, honestly, the because I've been approached about podcasts quite a bit, and my manager Armani, shout out to Armani again,
Yes.
is and other people on my team are really pressing me to go into podcasting. And the main reason that I'm into Marsha's Plate is because of Jay and Diamond. It's because of them. That is my excuse and my opportunity to sit and have real talk with them every week. And we have a crazy chemistry. I think that we've struck lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
All that we need is the audience. All that we need is people to tune in. If you tune in, you're gonna love it. Jay is super political savvy. Um, Diamond has all this experience in activism, um, fighting for women's rights, fighting for LGBTQ rights, fighting for black people's rights since she was a fucking child. Um, and then you have me, and y'all heard my story, the so you get the psychoanalysis from me, you get the real life experience from
Mm-hmm.
Diamond, and you get all of the shit that they don't want us to know from Jay. And
Yes.
um I've learned so much from them. Like I've started to do political commentary because of the things that I've learned from Jay. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And
Yes.
developing my team, and a lot of the things that I've been doing as a content creator and as an activist are based on things that I've been learning from Diamond.
Yes.
So I'm just grateful to be in such great company. And again, these are people who, if you are involved in our community at all, these are people who you should know or
Mm-hmm.
already do. Or
Yes.
already do know. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And like you had said, like I said earlier, I love the dynamic of the show. And I know you have a lot on your plate. I know you are a busy woman. I want to ask you, how do you stay motivated and consistent with producing episodes, especially during times, when you might be mentally down or have a lot going on?
Ooh, I actually that is actually my biggest struggle that I'm still working on. I haven't mastered that yet, Nikki. I haven't mastered that. And you know that there are things that we've been talking about doing behind the scenes, and there are things that I'm genuinely super hyped to do with
Mhm.
you. Things have already started being written. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know what I mean? And so yeah, no. But I'm still learning. Right now I'm learning how to balance all of it. Um and it's hard. It Learning how to balance it has actually been a mental health struggle for me, and
Mhm.
this new attention and starting to be recognizable, especially within our community. it's been taking a toll on me. I'm a girl who's been hiding in the background for years, and I
Mm,
got comfortable hiding in the background, and I got comfortable being unknown, and kind of all of that has changed in a very short time, and it's continuing to change. You know, my name is continuing to get bigger. People in there are people in Hollywood who want to work with me, and people constantly recognizing me. There are people in activism who want to work with me. There are people in the medical field who want to work with me, and it's all very overwhelming. And again, shout out to Armani. I shout out Armani so much because he's one of the reasons that Bre Starr is still going,
yes.
because I've been on the verge of giving up. I was on the verge of giving up for the first time when me and Armani, and that's how we got really super close. We've known each other for years, but we
Right.
got really super close when I was on the verge of giving up the first time. And he's been helping me to manage ever since, and now he gets paid to do it. You know,
Yes.
but yeah, we're definitely still building the team because again, there are a lot of things coming my way, and there are a lot of things that I'm genuinely interested in doing and taking advantage of. But I just can't do it all. I can't do the business and the
Mm,
creative, and still be able to take out time for family
right.
and you know uh psychology
Yes.
and a love life and all of those things. It's all very overwhelming, but the team is continuing to grow. The team is,
Mm,
is continuing to grow, and shout out to everybody I have around me. If you ever see anybody around me, you better trust and believe that they are good people, if nothing less, if
mm,
nothing else, because I'm a very good reader of people.
yes.
Even my exes who I drag online,
Um,
um, even though they might have did some foul shit to me,
mhm.
comparatively, they decent people. You could find worse.
I understand. I got you. I got you. And I want us to give a shout out to our boy Armani Day. He is such a sweet person and genuine, and I love him. And I rock with people who got good hearts, and I know he got a good heart. And I also want to
Amen.
say, yeah. Oh, and I also want to say, I'm glad that you did not give up. Please keep going because you are needed in our community. Continue to use your voice. You are a superstar. So I'm glad that you did not give up and don't give up. Continue to believe in yourself. You got it, okay? For sure. And
Thank
you
you,
are
Nikki. Thank
beautiful.
you. I have a whole new respect for you since content creating. I have a whole new respect for you, Armani, T.S. Madison,
That's for
um,
anything.
Tony Bryce, all of my people who are in entertainment, in
Right.
fashion, in in this public figure being seen, shit, period.
Yes.
Like, performing for the world, having to put on a face for the world. Like, I have a whole different respect for y'all. I grew up being one of the motherfuckers like, I'm so tired of hearing celebrities complain about
Mm,
how hard it the fuck is. And like, we not even super celebrity status yet. Like, of course,
yes.
T.S. Madison is, but the rest of
Yes.
us ain't even super celebrity status yet. We're just heavily celebrated within community and popular within community.
Yes.
And girl, it's a fucking lot.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
fucking lot.
We
And
on
then
the
you still have to have a whole regular life outside of this shit.
right. We still got yeah. We still got that life to live. Yes. Yes. It's crazy, but it's such a blessing for both of us and everybody. And like I said, we're on the come up and we in this together. So if you need anything, I think you got my number. If not, I give it to you. If you need anything, call me and I got you, sis.
Yes, sis, please, definitely down to exchange numbers. And also
Yes.
shout out to all the people who support both of us, because really,
Yes.
I don't know about you, Nikki, but
Mhm.
the supporters are what really keeps me going. And people, you and Armani included, before we had personal relationships and before we started doing things professionally together,
Yeah.
we were just supporting each other. So
Yes.
shout out to everybody who supports us. Like, trust and believe,
Real.
y'all are the reason why our voices matter.
Exactly. I gotta shout out my royalties. I come out for my royalties. They rocking since day one. So they have my back.
Yes.
When I'm down and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the strength to get out of bed today. They motivate me to get up, go take a shower, get in that gym, get it popping. You have to.
The same, the same way with my friends. You know, I call my people the friends, honey.
Yeah.
The same way with the friends, baby. Your day can only be but so bad when you have multiple people reminding you how much they love you. So definitely shout out to all the kings, the
Yes.
queens, and
Yes.
the
Yes.
royals,
It's
honey.
not,
Yes, come
it's
on,
not,
royalty.
it's not we might have to put the royalties and the friends together, have a little get together or something like that. That's what it sounded like.
Girl,
Yes.
it sounded like that, honey. We definitely be coming together. Me and the friends and definitely started to come together on the
Yes.
low, honey. But we're gonna start doing public parties, honey,
Yes.
and we can definitely have a function where all the kids come together,
For
honey, and we
real.
all pop our coochies, honey. And
Yes.
yes, we all pop our coochies and have adult drinks, honey,
Okay.
and smoke
Okay.
things,
You know I'm
you
down.
know.
You know I'm down. We get the DJ popping with some good finger foods and everything. So I'm always down for a good time. Yes.
Honey, and you know I'm always down to pop my coochie and smoke a
Okay.
little billica, huh?
Hey, let's get it
Damn.
engaged.
Mm, mm.
Yes, yes. I love it. Let's switch gears a little bit. As I had said earlier in this interview, I was a part of your show. You had interviewed me, and we had such a good time. And I love that how you cover topics on your platform from the LGBTQIA plus community, hot topics and ballroom and more. How important is the visibility and representation of transgender people in media and popular culture?
It's incredibly visible, and that's why I purposefully became visibly trans. You know,
Mhm.
before a lot of people feel like I popped up on TikTok out of nowhere, and it's because in a way I kind of did.
Yeah.
Um, after ballroom and transitioning legally, I went stealth. I
Mm.
went stealth the beginning of throughout college. Um, I lived a stealth life. The beginning of my psychology career, I lived stealth. Um, and then I started getting into activism, and even getting into activism, I didn't out myself as trans. You know, it was one of those things where the people who knew, and the people who didn't.
Hmm.
Um, but when I never even had a public social media profile until my TikTok page in 2020 during the COVID lockdown,
Hmm.
um, around the time of the George Floyd riots, and that's when I started to really get into social media.
Yes.
I was one of those people who only followed people who I knew in real life. You know what I mean? Only friended people who I knew in real life on social media. And
Hmm.
I started getting to social media. I started following popular content creators. I started actually connecting with other people through social media.
Yes.
And I caught the social media bug. And when I realized how necessary trans visibility was, when I realized how necessary Black trans woman visibility was, when I realized how necessary the voice of a formerly educated Black trans
Hmm.
woman was, I was like, yeah, Bree, yep.
Right.
Time for us to hop back on the radar, bitch.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel you on that. And I was going to ask you, I know like you've been doing your thing on TikTok, Instagram, and using your voice to be an advocate for our community. How can transgender individuals in the public eye use their platform for advocacy? And what challenges do they face in doing so?
If you're a person, not everybody is. I call us talking heads.
Hmm.
Um, for the people who talk politics and for the people who speak social justice, I call us all talking heads.
Yes.
Um, everybody's not a talking head, and I get that. You know, we have a lot of people. Everybody expresses themselves differently, and not everybody expresses themselves best verbally, and I get
Hmm.
that. And for all of my people who are very socially conscious and they want to spread the word of people like me, do exactly that. Spread
Yes.
our words. You know, whether you use our audio as background music for one of your videos, whether
Yeah.
you repost our videos, whether you if you're a producer, whether you put beats to our audios and to
Mhm.
our monologues and to our poetry and to our whatever. Yeah, literally that. Tell your friends about us, recommend us, because honestly, a lot of social justice advocates, especially Black queer ones, we're
Mhm.
suppressed online. We're suppressed as content creators. The algorithm is literally set up for you not to see us. If you do see
Exactly.
social justice, if you do see social justice advocates on your feed, on your timeline, it's because you specifically went out and found us. Or
Right.
it's because or it's because you're just genuinely into it and you found us along your journey. You
Yes.
know, so I definitely recommend word of mouth is always the best
Mhm.
form of promoting. But yeah, spread our words literally, you
Yes.
know.
That's what I was gonna say. Just use your voice, and because we are here and we're gonna continue to grow and use our voice this year. Where no one's gonna shut us down, and we're better together, and we're gonna get loud for sure. I would
Yeah,
like,
honey.
for sure, for sure. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling with their gender identity or thinking about transitioning?
The biggest advice that I've been given lately to trans people, we're gonna keep it 100.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you this. I'm talking to everybody. I'm telling y'all this as a psychologist, not as some random person with an opinion online. I'm telling you this as a psychologist who specializes in gender and sexuality. There is a trend of young people misidentifying themselves as trans. There is becoming a trend of people, period, misidentifying themselves as trans women and trans men. Now, I understand that for a lot of people, they're seeing us pop up, they're seeing us online, they see us get attention, good and bad. Transitioning genders comes with so many permanent effects, physical and psychological, that this is nothing to fucking play with. Okay?
It's not a game.
So that's number one. Take your damn time.
Yes, take your
Take your
time.
time. I know y'all keep hearing a lot of us people 30, 35 plus in the community keep telling y'all to take y'all damn time and keep telling y'all that a lot of
Mhm.
y'all ain't trans, and a lot of y'all want to take it as, us being old even though we're in our 30s. Us being want to take it as us being old and all of this. Some of y'all need to realize that a lot of shit that we've learned through life experience. Something that a lot of y'all need to accept is that not every trans person has made it to 30 or over 35. The average one hasn't. So the fact that a lot of us have made it to this age, maybe it's something that we do know that you don't.
Right.
Your trans identity is not going to disappear. Your trans identity is not going to run from you. You're not in competition with nobody else. Your identity is your identity. Your journey is your journey. If you are truly trans and you know that you are truly trans, you don't need to be in a rush to do any motherfucking thing because it's not going to stop you from being trans. Number one. Number two, when it comes to surgeries, I want y'all to start for all my trans men and trans women. When it comes to surgeries, if your goal is to pass, I want y'all to be consistently on hormone therapy for at least 2 years. And I'm telling y'all this as a medical professional. I want y'all to consistently be on hormone therapy for at least 2 years before you get any surgery. Consistent hormone therapy changes people's appearance in ways that you least expect. Me, for example, I went from looking like my daddy to looking like my mom just off of hormones. Hormones work with your genetics. I don't have any implants, injections. I don't have silicone anywhere in my body, and I have double D's just off of hormones. Had I got breast implants within my first year of hormone therapy, then I would probably have to get them removed because they would be too heavy and giving me back issues right now. A lot of y'all have these titties that's in y'all throat and then y'all chin and shit that be hard as a brick and don't move and shit. Don't jiggle even when you running. You don't need a sports bra, bitch. It's like the titties is taped
Oh,
and super loose.
really? It's okay. But you're right. I feel
A
you.
lot of a lot of y'all are having these complications with surgery because you're not giving yourself time to transition. When you go through hormone therapy, the hormones are doing everything it can to genetically from down to your genes. It's using your genes, it's using the female attributes in your genetics, and it is exaggerating them. It's making you it's making you fat in all of the places where women are naturally fat. It's making you lose muscle. It's making you do all these things. You get these surgeries early, and then y'all wonder why a lot of the girls be out here looking like chipmunks and ducks and cats and all of these animals when they supposed to be trying to look like a woman, but really they look like something off of National Geographic. And y'all
Really?
be wondering how this and y'all be wondering how this happens. Happening because a lot of them got surgery too early, and they not gonna tell y'all girls the motherfucking truth because they don't give a fuck about y'all. And misery love company. They want you to have fucked up, complicated surgeries too. When it comes to bottom surgery, I am not an advocate for bottom surgery. I know a lot of people saying praises about bottom surgery. It is a very small number of even transsexuals who are satisfied with bottom surgery. It's a small number of people who get bottom surgery and are satisfied with bottom surgery. And a lot of these people you would never know unless you have romantic and or sexual relationships with them. I'm a trans person who predominantly has romantic and relationship and sexual relationships with other trans people. I've consistently come across people with bottom surgery who have horrible complications, or they just have fucked up mental health issues because they're not satisfied with the bottom surgery and it didn't give them the results that they wanted, because what they're really looking for is something psychological and not physical. So I'm saying all of this to say that yes, bottom surgery may be for you. Yes, other surgeries may be for you. Yes, hormone therapy may be for you. Yes, you may really be trans, but give yourself fucking time, because if you really are, it ain't going nowhere. And every small step you take towards your transition will make you feel gender euphoria. Live in that, breathe that, stop and smell the fucking roses and enjoy your life as a trans person in every aspect and stage of your transition.
I love it, and that's my mouth shot because you kept it so raw. And I was like, Bree, because you. That's what I love about you. Like you don't filter nothing. You can keep it hot and speak your heart, and that's what I love. Like you kept it real and kept it authentic. And I agree. Like everyone that's in that journey of transitioning, take your time. There's no rush. There's no competition. I know it's really like highlighted right now in the media about transgender and stuff like that. I know it's kind of like a hot topic, but it's no rush. Just live your life, live in the moment, and just do you. And when the time is right, it will happen when it needs to be. For real.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Just
Now,
like every
go
just like
ahead.
everything just like everything else in your life that's meant to be, if your transition is meant to be, it will be.
It will be for real, for real. Now, before we get out of here, I know you got some upcoming projects. I heard you possibly are working on some new music for 2025. Tell the world, TTTP, the Transetter podcast, what you working on, what we can look out for in the future.
Girl, I'm a Virgo, and if y'all don't know nothing about Virgos, honey, we are practical, we are analytical, honey, we are the motherfuckers that got a plan A through Z. So you can trust and believe that I'm always the fuck working on something. I'm a Virgo with drive.
Yes.
So I'm always the fuck working on something. However, girl, I'm one of them people. I don't want to tell the people shit until I got something to show for it.
Okay.
So so
Yes.
right now, the biggest thing is I want people to help me and support me in getting my YouTube channel back. The biggest way that you could do that is just following me on IG at fairy.puss, FAIRY.PUSS. You follow me on there, you're gonna get a lot of cool ass content, but you're also going to get ways to information on how to support me getting my YouTube channel back, because my YouTube channel, that content on there is fucking popping. It's literally historical content on there. The YouTube channel, they shut it down as soon as it started to get a buzz, and as soon as we started getting subscribers coming in, we got right to 10K subscribers and they shut us down. And that's because the content is fucking dope.
Yes.
Um, Most of my viral content that's on IG and TikTok, YouTube saw it first. So right now we're trying to get the YouTube channel back. Of course, behind the scenes, I'm working on a few things. I'm working on writing some things. I'm working on music. Trying to get in the studio with you.
Yes.
Um, trying to get in the studio with you. You know, we got some ideas, we got some things that we talked about. Honey, royalty, keep y'all air out, honey. Yes, honey.
Yes.
Nikki then inspired your girl to get from
Ah,
behind then inspired your girl to get from behind the pen to getting behind the mic, honey.
let's do
Yes, honey.
it. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm excited for that. So y'all keep y'all eye out on that. Continue to push us to do that because it's necessary. And the only thing that's stalling us is that we both have so much going on. We both have our shit going on behind the scenes. Um, but yeah, you know, when I have things to tell y'all about, I will tell y'all right now. Of course, we got the TikTok. Um, Based on what I know, they may be transferring our accounts over to another app. So
Yeah.
follow me on TikTok, fairy.puss. Follow me on IG, fairy.puss. You know, I make t-shirts ballroom adjacent. I make let I voted for her t-shirts because the more shit goes left with this country, you gonna want to remind motherfuckers that you ain't part of the reason it went left.
Okay.
Okay. You know, we got celebrity adjacent because I'm celebrity adjacent as well. You know, to all the public out there, y'all don't even know the straight celebrities that I know yet, honey.
Okay.
Y'all don't even know the straight celebrities that I done worked with yet, honey. And we
Okay.
keeping that low. And we
Okay.
keeping that low for now. You know,
Yes.
I ain't pressed. I ain't pressed, honey. I ain't pressed, and I ain't trying to get clout off nobody else's
Mhm.
name. But you know, just like y'all found out, I know Maddie, y'all will find out all the other people who and Nikith, y'all will
Yes.
find out y'all will find out all the other people that I know in due time. And who knows, you know, you might end up seeing me on a stage that you never expected the puss to be on.
Okay, and we want to be first to see it. So any updates or any drops you got coming out, please let us know so we can share here at TTP. Okay, we want the
You know
exclusive.
me, me and Armani gonna keep you posted, honey, so
Yes,
you and the royalty can come through, honey.
yes, yes. And I'm planning on being in your area this summer. So if you don't come to LA before then, we're gonna definitely link when I come that way this summer for sure. So that's locked in.
Girl, we definitely got a link
Yes.
when you come this motherfucking way, even if we don't do no more than a cipher for the people, honey.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're gonna get it for sure, for sure. Yes. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Bre Starr, for coming to my show today, TTP. Like I said, continue to be yourself, live authentic, using your voice, and never give up. You killing it, you slaying the game, and I can't wait to see what else is in store for you in the future. You're doing your thing, so continue to be a superstar, beautiful. Okay.
Thank you for having me, my love, and shout out to all of the royalty, y'all. I hope y'all appreciate getting to know a crazy bitch a little better. Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, royalties. Like she said, we better get up out of here. This is a new episode of TTP, the Transetter Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on everything at the Transetter Pod. And yeah, we out. We love you. Bye, royalties.